All right, let's talk about something that's a huge deal for anyone building a product, understanding your customers. For what feels like forever, it's been this slow, really expensive process. But what if all of that changed? What if you could get those deep, critical insights in just a few days instead of waiting months? Well, let's dive into how that's happening right now. So, just to set the scene, let's say you're launching a new sparkling coffee drink. Super exciting. You need to know what your target audience thinks, right? So you hire a traditional market research agency. This number you're looking at? $120,000. That's a pretty standard price for just one of those projects. And the timeline? How long do you have to wait for those answers? 7 weeks. Yep. From the moment you sign the contract to the day you get that final PowerPoint deck, you're looking at nearly 2 months. And all that time, the market is moving and your competitors are definitely not waiting around. And this all leads to the one question that has probably kept every founder and product manager up at night. In a world that moves this fast, why is understanding our users still so painfully slow and ridiculously expensive? It just doesn't add up. So what's the answer? Well, this is where things get really interesting. Say hello to AI-driven research. And I want to be clear. This isn't just about speeding up the old clunky process. It's about a completely new way of thinking. This right here is the fundamental shift. It's a total change in mindset. Traditional agencies, you hire them to execute a project. It's a one-and-done deal. You have a question, you pay a lot of money, they deliver a report. But these new AI platforms, they provide an always-on capability. It's like turning research from a rare, big-budget event into something your team can do every single day. Now, to make this really concrete, we're going to use a platform called Atypica as our case study today. And its whole reason for being is to solve those two big problems we just talked about, time and money. The promise is simple. Get you deep qualitative research in hours, not weeks, all for a flat subscription fee. Okay, so let's put them side by side, the old way versus the new way. How do they actually stack up when you look at cost, speed, and of course the quality of the insights you got? First up, let's talk money, because the difference here is, well, it's staggering. Let's say your team runs about 10 studies a year. With traditional agencies, you're easily looking at a bill over $300,000. With an AI platform subscription like Atypica, that cost can plummet to around $24,000. It's a total game changer for the economics of research. Now for the timeline. Remember that 7-week journey for our coffee drink? This is what it actually looks like. You spend weeks just on proposals and finding people to talk to before you even ask a single question. Then more weeks doing the interviews, and even more weeks analyzing it all. It's thorough for sure, but man, is it slow. And now look at the contrast. This is the AI-driven sprint. Day 1, you plan your study, and you hit launch. Day 2, the AI is already conducting and synthesizing hundreds of interviews. And by day 3, Wednesday, you have insights you can actually use. You can already start iterating. The impact this has on how fast you can make decisions is just enormous. Let that really sink in for a moment. We're talking about a 90 to 95% compression in time. Something that used to take up a month and a half of your product roadmap now gets done between your Monday morning coffee and your Wednesday afternoon meeting. But, okay, what's the catch? What about the quality? This is where it gets nuanced, and you can see the trade-offs. AI platforms give you incredible scale. You're not talking to 10 or 20 people. You're essentially interviewing hundreds of AI personas that are modeled on your target customers using massive amounts of data. But, and this is a big but, look at that last row. Traditional agencies give you something AI can't. Validation from a real, live human being. And for some decisions, that's just not negotiable. So you see, this isn't about AI coming in and replacing humans. Not at all. It's about having the right tool for the right job. And knowing when to use which one is the real key. And honestly, this quote just nails the new way of thinking. Traditional agencies execute projects. Atypica provides research capability. One is a service you hire. The other is a capacity you build inside your own team. So when is that human touch absolutely essential? Well, think about the really high-stakes stuff. You're validating the multi-million-dollar strategy for the board, or you're doing research for regulatory compliance, or you need to watch someone physically use your product. These are the moments you call in the traditional experts. And where does the AI capability shine? It's all about speed and volume. You're testing an idea in its earliest stages. You're screening 10 different concepts to see which one has legs. You're doing continuous research to keep a pulse on your market. Basically, it lets you have deep, meaningful conversations at a scale that was just impossible before. So this brings us to the really powerful part. You don't have to choose. In fact, you shouldn't. The smartest teams are combining these two strengths. Let's look at the new playbook for how this works. It's called the 80-20 Research Framework, and the idea is beautifully simple. 80% of your research efforts go towards that fast, iterative, AI-driven exploration, and you save the other 20% for those moments of critical, human-led validation. Here's what that looks like. The AI platform becomes your team's research workhorse. It handles the bulk of the day-to-day, high-frequency learning. And what that does is it frees up your traditional agency partners to focus on what they do best, coming in at those key moments to validate your most important assumptions before you go all in. And the result of all this? It's an absolute game changer. Teams can now run up to 20 times more research projects, often for the same or even less money than they were spending before. You really get the best of both worlds, the incredible speed of AI paired with the undeniable credibility of human validation. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. If all those old barriers of cost and time just disappeared, and you suddenly had 20 times the research capability you have today, what are the big, scary, unanswered questions you would finally go after? Thanks for tuning in.